What's going on, everybody out there, and welcome back to another Dark Avenger comic book review, the series where we talk about books that came out in the previous week. However, we're still 2 weeks behind. We're talking about books that were released on October 15th, 2025, as we get, well, as the book weeks get closer to Halloween, but we are recording this on the week of Halloween, and this is probably going up on the day of Halloween. Hopefully this weekend we'll have...
That's a lot of...
Hopefully this weekend we'll have 539 coming out, and then 540 is supposed to be the books that came out this Wednesday.
Right.
So once we catch up, I'll be very happy. But we're going to run through the books as fast as we can here, and hopefully we'll be back soon, like I said, with last week's books. So this is 2 weeks ago. We're going to jump right into the independents. Right. Godzilla... Escape the Deadzone, issue number 3. Not a fan of the book.
Really?
I just could not get into it. I really tried. I wanted to get into all the books in this new era of Godzilla. There's always one book that's the weakest. This book was it.
Okay.
And I just couldn't get into it. I tried the art style. I do like the art. It's just the story did not... It doesn't feel like a Godzilla book. I know it takes place in the Godzilla universe. It is technically called the Deadzone. I couldn't. I tried. It just isn't my thing. I'll probably keep collecting it just so that I have the full series of all the Godzilla books, because there might be a crossover at some point. Maybe. But this is definitely the weaker of the 3 books. I would say that it's Godzilla, the main title, is doing really good. Then you got Spaceship or Starship. And then you have this. There are other mini-series coming out for Godzilla. Along Came an Alien, I believe, is just about finishing up the mini-series. This is just one of those titles I just could not. For the life of me, I tried. G.I. Joe, issue number 12. I loved this issue. So, I forgot her name. A sniper who was captured by Cobra, imprisoned, and finds a way to escape at the same time that G.I. Joe shows up to save her. It was a very good book. I really, truly enjoyed it. I love in the end... So she had a target. Okay. And she talks about it all throughout the issue, but we don't know who it is. But we find out at the end of the issue who it was. That was a really good ending. I love G.I. Joe. Great artwork. Love the story. Looking forward to continuing through this, and then Real American Hero actually is, I believe, coming up soon. I think I just did Real American Hero. So Real American Hero is a continuation from the Marvel Universe G.I. Joe, and then G.I. Joe is the IDW Image. That's where it came from. Image, Energon Universe. What do you call it? And I love how they're making little teasers towards Transformers and somebody else being involved, who we saw at the end of the last Transformers issue. I love the build-up of this Energon universe. There's going to be a crossover. You know they're working towards a crossover.
They're doing that, yeah.
Yeah, and it's going to be great. So this is a new book, and it's part of a universe that I'm literally one yes away from probably grabbing the full run of this series to catch up, or this universe to catch up on fully. Rogue Sun, issue number 30, is a new arc. I've heard a lot of people talking about the Massive Universe, Radiant Black. Radiant Black is something that we heard a bit about right before we ended 500. So Radiant Black is part of the Massive Universe. There's Radiant Black, there's Radiant Pink, and I think there's a Furious Red. No/1 and Rogue Sun all are in the same universe, and now apparently they're showing Spawn, so I'm guessing Spawn somehow crosses in with the Massive Universe. We'll talk about this book in a second. I decided to try Radiant Black. I did grab the last 2 issues because it's a new story arc. On a week where I have less to read, maybe even the next episode, depending how many books, I will probably talk about the latest story arc in Radiant Black. I might be continuing it, and I might be grabbing the full Massive Universe runs and go through them. I know book 2 of something Red, it's not Radiant Red, it's something else, is coming out in starting in December. So that's why I'm probably going to end up getting the Rogue Sun and Radiant Black and all the other little miniseries that have come out. And we'll talk about that on a Comic Book Corner episode probably because there'll be trades. But yeah, this issue was really good. It takes place in the past. I love how it opens up with a like intro to what's been going on in the book, and then immediately says, well, this takes place hundreds of years in the past. And it shows the Rogue Sun back in those days and era meeting up with, and this is teasing a crossover for a later date in 2026, with Medieval Spawn. They team up to stop Morningstar in that era from coming into being, and it's an unlikely team up that ends in a very unlikely way, and the loss of a character, not Rogue Sun or Medieval Spawn. But this was a really good issue, and the artwork's really good, and it definitely gets me interested in trying out Rogue Sun. Going back and continuing Rogue Sun forward and checking out the previous 29 issues, which I believe there's like 5 volumes, because it's like about 6 or 7 issues a volume. So, very interesting book. I'm looking forward, as we move forward with these reviews, possibly seeing newer series that we've missed out on showing up in the past 5 years in the reviews. Probably more than likely there'll be a lot of independents, because I mean Marvel and DC keep restarting their books, except for Action, Amazing, Spider-Man, and Detective. All other books start at number 1 again at some point in Marvel and DC, whereas independents, these books last for a long while before they renumber it. So look forward to seeing more Massiverse. Really interested in diving headfirst into this universe.
So I did miss the first issue of this, so I jumped on to Sonja Reborn issue number 2.
Red Sonja is another book that you were interested in before.
Yes. And what was really interesting about this book is that it's not the actual Sonja that's in this body. It's another woman named Margaret. So there must have been like a body swap thing, because she's like saying, what's this universe? Like, where am I? Like, how do I go to the bathroom? How do I do this? How do I do that? And there's this little boy. No, because she had... It was just like a little bit of a, like, what's this, what's that, this,
where do I go to the bathroom? Maybe not how.
Where? Because there's no restroom in the... Well, anyway, she goes on this adventure with this little boy named Fiolun, and they're trying to find this magic to basically bring Margaret back to her body, and then Sonja back to her body, so that way everyone could go back to their original universe. So basically that's what this story is about, and then she gets caught up with this person who wants to kill, who he thinks is Sonja, and then because everybody's always after her.
Remind me, did you review Vampirella?
No, you did.
I did? Okay.
You
I'll
did,
have
yes.
to catch up on the
No,
next
but Red Sonja. But Sonja Reborn, I don't know what happened in the first issue, how this body swap thing happened, but this was a really interesting book, and I love the artwork, actually. The artwork in this book is always the best in this one, but I can't wait to see how this body swap thing is going to continue.
Another series I decided to dive headlong into, and I already got all the trades. I haven't caught up on reading them yet, but you'll look forward to seeing these trades in the future on Comic Book Corner 100%. Something is Killing the Children. This book is a monster hunter walks into a bar. It's a one-shot. And it's basically main character goes into a bar, and the bartender is telling her about all the goings-on that apparently 6 kids went missing and were found killed. And she's hearing what all the people are... One person says they were taken by an invisible force. Now, in the Something is Killing the Children's universe, the monsters can only be seen by children and special people, which are the hunters. And all these people are making these different assumptions about aliens, monsters. One person says they were just taken by something invisible, couldn't see it. And then you get all these different points of views and all these different things. And then you find there's another story about who found the children's bodies, you know. And then the bartender's like, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. And she tells the actual story, which also is just as far out there as anything else. So, I mean, it just blends in with all the other stories. And I love how at the end of the issue, the bartender's like, thank you. And she's like, for what? And he's like, I don't know why, but I feel like I should. And I feel like the whole town owes you a thanks, because obviously she was there to hunt the monsters. And she did. And she's on her way out. And that's what this book is a lot about, is about the hunters. So the hunters want to kill anyone who witnesses the monsters, what she's doing is stopping the monsters and letting the people who've witnessed it live. She's more of protecting the children. I don't know why her name left my mind. I started reading it and it just gone. So forgive me, I can't tell you the name, but Something is Killing the Children, issue 44, which is continuing the current story arc. I believe the story arc started in issue, I want to say 39, but we're getting a lot of past stories and origins of the main character, and there's somebody who's looking into like a file that's locked away, that he gains permission from one of the older hunters who gives him the authority to actually look into those files, which are put away for a reason. We don't know what that reason is yet, but obviously they are put away because they are files that have some very need-to-know basis stuff. I'm really looking forward to seeing what the files for that are. Something is Killing the Children is an excellent series that I wish I would have jumped on. I know for a fact that I missed out on the first at least 10 issues before we ended the reviews. It didn't pique my interest then. I wish I would have tried. And maybe I got the first issue. I don't remember, but really good series. Looking forward to reviewing the books on Comic Book Corner and continuing the series moving forward in the reviews. TMNT Shredder issue number 2. We're in the second issue for Shredder. Shredder's looking for a specific person and goes to a club looking for this person because he needs their help. I believe it's the Serpent King or something like that. And he has a detective that's following him too. He's looking to prevent something that is happening in New York City. He's lost the fact that he is the leader of the Foot Clan, so he lost all his credibility. However, losing your credibility does not mean you lose your skills. Ah. So when they don't want to talk to him and they attack him, you don't need credibility to kill everyone in the room. This is Shredder we're talking about. So he is actually able to do that, gets the information he wants, and now we have other people that are trying to find... he's working with the detectives apparently too, and they're trying to make sure that what is being shipped into New York City doesn't happen, because it's very explosive stuff, let's put it that way. I'm really excited to see where this series goes. I feel like it's going to end up being a maxi series. It's going to probably end at issue 12. It's labeled as an ongoing series, just like Casey Jones. I'm looking forward to Casey Jones. But I feel like both of these series are going to end up ending, if not at issue 12, at issue 24. Just because I don't know where we would continue. Casey maybe, but I just don't see where we will continue a ongoing Shredder or Casey series. These feel like, at most, maxi series, possibly. I'm looking forward to catching up with TMNT at some point as well. We're going into Marvel now.
Yeah, so we're starting it off with Iron and Frost issue number 1.
Now, you didn't know this because you weren't here, but Iron Man and Emma Frost did get married at one point during the whole event.
I'm like, Tony Stark, why Emma Frost? Because I'm not an Emma Frost fan. I'm really not. I don't like her. That's just me. But anyway...
In the beginning, I didn't either.
Oh, I remember you with the Emma... But anyway, going into this book. So, I don't know, I felt like this book was going into many different directions. Like, they're in a fight with I forgot who it was that were going against Iron Man, Emma Frost, and War Machine was in it, and then it was going in like way too many directions, and I found it a little bit confusing when I was reading it, because like you said, like when, that Emma Frost and Iron Man are together, I got that part, but I just couldn't really like grasp like what was going on with so much that was happening. But what I got was that in the end of the book, there's like a new Iron Man that they were saying, all hail Iron Man, because of this current one. So that's why I was like having a little bit of a misunderstanding of like where this story was going. So maybe when I read issue 2, maybe they'll have a better explanation of why there was just so much going on to give me a better understanding. Like, okay, so now this is why A, B, and C happened. Mm-hmm. So that's what I said. But the artwork was great in this book, and just Emma Frost and Tony Stark, I don't know.
Now, I'm going to be talking to you about this, too. Amazing Spider-Man issue 14 legacy number is 978 as we continue to get ever so close to that 1,000th issue, which I have my hopes for issue 1000. I don't think it's going to happen because it's Marvel and Disney, but this was an interesting book. So in the last issue, we saw that Pete's in space. He wants to get stronger. So while he's absent, Ben Reilly is taking over as Peter Parker and leading Peter Parker's life. And his girlfriend's trying to get him to kind of like, I know you're doing this for now, but I miss you and I want to spend, and he spends a little bit of time with her in the book, but she misses him being, because he's not the Scarlet Spider anymore. He's, oh my God, why did the name leave me? I did a review of the series. Oh God, he goes by a different name now because he had amnesia for a while there. But anyway, she misses him and wants him to come back to being Ben Reilly and stop pretending to be Peter Parker. And she does have a little interaction with Aunt May, who is... Her relationship with Pete's on very, very rocky terms right now. But you got Ben Reilly, who's being Pete, and then you've got the Spider family taking over while Spider-Man's gone, but you've got Norman Osborn, who's trying to take over as Spider-Man for now.
Is Norman Osborn dead or alive? Because he's
alive
on
again.
being...
No, he's alive. And he's trying to be Spider-Man while Pete's away. So, officially now, Doc Ock's been Spider-Man.
Oh no, no.
No, but Doc Ock took over Spider-Man's body. Norman Osborn's just Norman Osborn in a spider suit. That's the suit.
It's worse than when we saw J. Jonah Jameson in the movie in a Spider-Man
And the thing is, everyone hates Norman Osborn. Ben Reilly hates him. The Spider family told him, don't put back on the costume. We got this. Stay the hell away. And yet, he puts it on again when people are put in danger, and we find out that Hobgoblin's back, and his target is Norman Osborn. So Norman Osborn is public enemy number one, and is Spider-Man.
So he's hiding his identity, so he doesn't get...
Yeah, they don't know. They think that Spider-Man's still Spider-Man.
Oh, wow.
And I love how in the back of his mind he's like, is this what Pete feels like when he's Spider-Man? And he's starting to like it.
So wait, does the other Spider-Man know that there's him as Spider-Man or no?
I don't know. I didn't read the arc when he left.
Oh.
But it's something I think you would be very interested in. Honestly, I
didn't see it.
I think it's something you'd be interested in. Honestly, I would wait till this arc is over now because you would be too lost. But when the next arc starts, you might want to at least peer through it. And I'm not one to... And again, I will not promote ever buying Amazing Spider-Man because of Marvel's stand on a few things when it comes to Spider-Man. However, I cannot deny that the last volume was very good until they, botched up the ending, of course. And this arc so far is pretty good, despite the thing we all know we want Marvel to do, but won't do. So that is why I can't really... I want to tell you to buy it, and I'll say it's up to you, but because of Marvel's horrible stance on Spider-Man, it's really hard for me, as a fan of the series, as a fan of the character, to sit here and go, absolutely buy it. I think it's a good read. I leave that up to all of you. Yeah, if you want to grab it or not. We're now switching it up to DC Comics Absolute Flash issue number 8. Backstory. I love it because this is a perfect way to kind of get an in-between because I haven't read the previous 7 issues, but Wally is the Flash in this universe. So what happened to Barry Allen? This issue tells us what happens to Barry. Apparently, the daughter of Eobard Thawne, Reverse Flash, has seen Barry's work and lost her grandfather to the project he was doing, which I guess tapped into the Speed Force. He went missing, so she wants to bring Barry on to finish her grandfather's work. And he does. And by the end of the year, we get to see him interact with Wally a little bit before Wally becomes the Flash. His research. However, in this universe, the Speed Force says Wally is the one and not Barry. And I guess by the end of the issue, Barry goes missing or something. I didn't read the first 7 issues, but I like that we got to see this universe's Barry Allen. I like the backstory. I'm really looking forward to getting into the next story arc. I will try. Honestly, I own the single issue, so I don't know if I'm going to trade paperback my way, to reading it, but I'm going to try my hardest to go back in time at some point and maybe review the arc. We'll see. World's Finest, issue number 44. Another really fun read. There was a previous story, and I did review it. Funny enough, I actually did review that book on a previous review here. So in a previous issue, Robin and Supergirl went on a date. It didn't go well. In this issue, Superman and Batman are busy, and Robin is off on a mission, and they ask Supergirl to follow him and keep an eye on him to make sure he is, there's somebody watching out for him, because where he's going is dangerous, and he's not going to be able to do it alone. And it becomes this uncanny team up again that, spoiler alert, ends with a kiss. Oh. So there's something, I love how we're not dating, but yet there's something between the two of them, which I really like. Again, this book is kind of out of sync with the universe a bit.
Okay.
And I like it. I really like this issue a lot. I'm looking forward to seeing more of that develop in Batman Superman World's Finest. This is a fun book because it doesn't take place in any point in time, per se. It did cross over when they were doing the event leading into KO, but now we're back to... It could be anywhere. It's canon universe, but it's all different. It doesn't collide with any of the other stuff that's going on.
Okay.
Which is good, unless there's a crossover, like I said, like with the Justice League. Nightwing issue number 131. I only wish I can go back and talk about so much stuff that's happened in Nightwing. Did not agree with the Richard. What do you call it? I think it was Richard Grayson or whatever name he did when he had amnesia. I hated that. That was when I actually dropped Nightwing, when they did that whole spiel for about a year. Nightwing's return now was awesome, and then the arcs before this were really good as well. I know there were many times I wanted to talk about Nightwing when I was going to bring the review back. However, this issue begins the... I'm sorry, I just said... Master of Puppets. Master of Puppets arc. So, kids are going missing. And we have somebody new who apparently in previous arcs... was given, or his body was combined with Kryptonian DNA, and he's wearing the Nightwing suit. He's called Nightwing Prime. He's wearing the Nightwing suit from Krypton's Nightwing, and he's basically mentoring Nightwing, and Nightwing is trying to be the best mentor possible, and you have kids who have gone missing. Nightwing is taking on the case now, and then there's also Killer Moth, who's out and about, and obviously Nightwing Prime wants to catch Killer Moth. The other Nightwing, unfortunately, they lost him. They wanted him to get away so that they could track him later. A lot of crazy stuff happens, and it ends with a really good cliffhanger. We don't know what's going to happen with Nightwing Prime. The last page was deep. I'm really interested in seeing what's going on with Nightwing. Nightwing's doing really well, and you have Oracle, which is Barbara Gordon. So she is back as Oracle again. I don't know if she doesn't don the mantle at all of Batgirl. I do remember back in the day they said if she did and her back got re-injured again, she would be paralyzed forever. So I'm not sure, but I know she's still teaming with Nightwing. Superman Unlimited issue number 6. Kryptonites. So, I didn't read up to this point. I know Superman is in a city made of kryptonite. And he is trying to stop this man who wants Superman to lead them. He is claiming to be the king of Krypton. There's a point where Superman wears a gold suit of gold kryptonite or some type of a synthetic gold kryptonite, which he can wear and makes him immune to kryptonite for a very short time, but then when the suit does dissolve, and so does his powers for a time. So he's trying to save everyone from the city and from the kryptonite growing, and then the suit evaporates, and he's unable to stop this person from claiming or becoming the king of this new zone that was created due to the crystal that makes like a fortress of kryptonite. Interesting story, I will say. Unlimited is ongoing, I believe. Yes, Unlimited is ongoing. It's Book of L, that is a 12-issue maxi. So I'm looking forward to kind of getting through this arc and getting to the next one. Really interesting story so far, though.
Okay, we continue the adventures with Justice League Red issue number 3.
Did find out this is a miniseries. It's
it
not
is
ongoing.
a miniseries. Alright, well, this is where, as Green Lantern and Cyborg are on the search for a Red Canary and try to save her based on Red Torpedo's information, Supergirl's with Red Torpedo and Supergirl's parents, hologram, was showing up. And then she was happy to see them, but then goes to Red Torpedo, why did you do that? Because, like, she wasn't ready to see that. And then he said, oh, well, you did so much for me and everything. I wanted to just get back to you because I feel like I'm not doing much. He's like that type of character. So basically there was that part. So they do rescue Red Canary and then bring her back to Lair. A character does come in this issue. Dead Man. He's like a little bit mute and everything, but then they're on this new mission now with Black Canary back into action. Again, we see the same character who we saw in the last issue appear in the final page, and I'll just say it, it's Black Adam. I mean, we saw that in the last issue.
Yeah, it's not a spoiler anymore.
So I don't know why, like, okay, you're showing us Black Adam. Is he going to be in action, or are you just going to keep throwing him into the last page of To Be Continues? Let me see him in action. You know, I'm just saying, as my opinion, he should be in action because it was To Be Continued. But I really love the issue. The adventure was great, and looking forward to, well, however many series now. Because now, saying it's mini, that's very sad because I was getting interested in this. But oh well.
The first DCKO tie-in, and a book I am reading besides tie-ins, Titans, issue number 28. So the Justice League has left. This is right after events of them leaving to be a part of the tournament. Obviously, I think Nightwing went with them. So the Titans are left with evacuating Earth. And there's a huge speech at the beginning and towards the end of the book from Cyborg. And the Titans are now moving people off of Earth so that if they fail and Darkseid attacks, there's another planet that the human race will be living on if Earth ends up, lost. There's a wonderful moment with the Titans where they have that moment where they're all together. Terra makes an appearance in this book. There's a moment between Red Arrow and Wonder Girl.
Oh.
And it's just a lot of preparation, and then some of the ships leave and some of the Titans. So some of the Titans leave with the ships, and then some of the Titans stay behind to get everyone who's left off the planet. And they're going towards another planet, and that's really the best synopsis I could give. And then we get to a point where it's the last page, and the ships that have left get attacked by Granny Goodness and Darkseid's army. So Darkseid was one step ahead. So now they're far away, and the Titans on Earth are still stuck on Earth. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens, because they're trying to get to the new planet, but now there's a whole army between them and this new world that they're going to keep everybody safe. I like the book. I love Titans. This is going to be a very interesting crossover for sure. And with that, that's it for this review, everybody. So, again, we're going to try to get the next review up as soon as possible. Stay tuned. Hopefully, we'll have it up by the end of the weekend. Till then, everybody, have a happy Halloween, because this is probably, or I hope you are having a happy Halloween, because this is going up on Halloween. Yep. Take care. Keep reading, keep collecting, and we will see all of you really soon in the next episode.
Later, everybody.